gmna uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good morning, Montreal. I'm Lauren Dupuis. Tonight we'll hear how a formerly homeless neighbor just moved into a subsidized apartment, and we'll check in on the old brewery mission's new permanent rehousing project in Sud-Ouest. Traffic's light with only a few bridge closures. Over to you, Ryan.
The Montreal Marathon occurred yesterday, drawing over 3,000 participants, and the men's champion finished just under 3 hours.
Over 3,000 runners joined the marathon yesterday, and the leading male finisher crossed the line in just under 3 hours.
Volunteers numbered nearly 500 at the marathon yesterday, providing water stations, medical aid, and route guidance throughout the course.
All right, let's get into it. The reopened family reunification applications and the Hydro-Quebec Battery Center shutdown are today's headlines. Good morning, Montreal. Here's what you need to know to start your day confidently, from traffic updates to weather, and the headlines shaping our community. Robert Monette stepped into a new chapter yesterday, moving into a subsidized apartment that marks the latest success of the city's small-scale housing project for people transitioning out of homelessness. The initiative, limited to 18 units, pairs reduced rent with free on-site counseling, aiming to give residents a stable foothold and the support they need to stay housed. Monette, who spent years navigating the streets, said the move feels like a chance to rebuild his life and reconnect with family. City officials note that the program's blend of affordable housing and wrap-around services is designed to break the cycle of chronic homelessness. While the project remains modest in size, each placement represents a tangible step toward lasting stability for those who have struggled to find a permanent roof. The building sits in a quiet neighborhood near the plateau, close to public transit.
Yesterday, the Quebec government announced that family reunification immigration applications have been reopened after a 12-month suspension. The province introduced a brand new processing system designed to streamline reviews and reduce backlogs. Officials said the pause, which began in June of last year, was intended to allow a comprehensive overhaul of procedures and to align the program with updated provincial priorities. With the new platform now live, applicants can submit documents online and track their cases through a centralized portal. The ministry said the portal will provide applicants with status updates, improving transparency. Eligibility criteria stay the same, so only qualified relatives are considered. Community advocates welcomed the move, noting many families have been separated for over a year. The announcement signals a shift toward restoring family ties for waiting applicants.
Health officials announced today that Santé Quebec will reactivate the emergency protocols that proved effective in curbing seasonal interruptions last summer. The agency says the revived measures are aimed at preventing the spike in service disruptions that typically afflict hospitals, clinics, and long-term care centers during the warm months. By reinstating staffing reinforcement, equipment maintenance schedules, and temporary surge capacity plans, officials expect to keep patient care flowing smoothly across the province. Santé Quebec highlighted that the previous rollout helped avoid a significant number of cancellations and reduced wait times in numerous facilities. The new directive will be applied throughout the province for the entire summer period, with regional health boards instructed to implement the guidelines immediately. Authorities stressed that maintaining continuity of care remains a top priority as the health system prepares for the seasonal challenges ahead.
Hydro-Quebec announced yesterday that it has closed its battery materials research center in Quebec, ending operations that employed roughly 90 staff members. The decision brings an abrupt halt to a facility that had focused on developing advanced battery chemistries for the province's energy grid and electric vehicle initiatives. Officials said the shutdown follows a strategic review of research priorities, though no further details on future plans for the program were provided. The center's closure will affect a team of engineers, chemists and technicians who have been working on projects ranging from lithium-ion alternatives to solid-state concepts. Provincial labor representatives were briefed on the move, and employees are being informed of possible redeployment options within Hydro-Quebec's broader research network. The company reaffirmed its commitment to advancing clean energy, even as this particular laboratory ceases activity.
Yesterday, the Quebec Treasury announced it will take direct supervision of all major government IT projects. Minister France-Elaine Duranceau said a special intervention team will spot cost overruns early and issue red flag alerts to keep programs on track. The move follows the troubled SAA Q-Click rollout by the Société de l'Assurance Automobile du Québec, a cautionary example of a large-scale IT failure. Officials said the new oversight framework aims to prevent another costly debacle and protect taxpayers from runaway expenses. The Treasury will monitor budgeting, timelines, and technical delivery across ministries, with the team reporting directly to the ministerial office. The oversight will cover projects valued in the hundreds of millions of dollars, and the team will draw on auditors, engineers, and senior IT specialists. The Treasury said the step follows a comprehensive review ordered by the provincial government earlier this year. Later we'll hear how a formerly homeless Montrealer secured a subsidized apartment and check on the Montreal Nord fire tragedy. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Welcome back. I hope you're feeling ready for the day. Now, let's turn to Ryan for the local stories you need to hear this morning.
The blaze that ignited Tuesday night in a Montreal Nord home forced firefighters into a race against time. Emergency crews arrived to find flames engulfing the dwelling, and 2 children were trapped inside. Paramedics pulled a 9-year-old boy from the smoke-filled rooms. He remains in critical condition, while his sibling, also injured, is listed as serious. Police say the fire began in the early evening, prompting a rapid response from the fire department and ambulance services. Neighbors reported hearing alarms and seeing thick black smoke drifting across the street. Authorities are still investigating the cause, but have confirmed that both children received immediate medical attention at the local hospital. The incident underscores the danger of residential fires and the swift work of first responders in protecting families. Residents stood on the sidewalk, watching the fire trucks douse the roof as the night air filled with the smell of ash.
During a World Cup match on June 18th, Canada's men's national soccer team delivered a 6-0 victory over Qatar. Midfielder Ismail Kane, a regular starter, suffered a broken leg in the second half while contesting a ball near the penalty area. Team coach and teammates gathered on the field as medical staff attended to him, and the injury was confirmed as a fracture after the final whistle. The game was played at the World Cup venue in Qatar, where Canada's early dominance set the tone for a historic win. The coach addressed the media after the match, acknowledging the severity of the injury while emphasizing the team's collective effort that produced the 6-goal margin. Teammates gathered around Kane, offering support as he was taken to the stadium's medical facility. Officials indicated Kane will undergo surgery and a lengthy rehabilitation period, leaving a key player unavailable for upcoming fixtures.
Public health officials say rabies cases among raccoons are on the rise in the areas south and east of the city. The latest monitoring data released on June 19th shows a steady increase in positive tests, prompting warnings for residents who may encounter wildlife. Authorities stress that the virus can spread to pets and in rare instances to people, so they advise keeping pets on leashes and avoiding feeding or handling wild animals. Veterinarians are being alerted to watch for symptoms such as excessive drooling or unusual aggression. The health department will continue intensive surveillance and may expand vaccination zones if the trend persists. Residents are urged to report any raccoon sightings that appear sick or injured to local animal control services. The provincial laboratory in St. Hyacinthe confirmed the latest specimens, and officials will hold informational briefings at community centers later this week to explain preventative steps.
Police say a 28-year-old male suspect stole a Montreal police cruiser during a robbery response on June 19th and fled, sparking a citywide pursuit that covered almost 60 kilometers. Officers first arrived at the robbery scene, only to see the suspect force an officer out of the vehicle and take control. The Montreal Police Service deployed several units, including tactical teams, as the stolen cruiser weaved through the Plateau and Milan neighborhoods before reaching highway routes. The chase lasted roughly 20 minutes before the suspect abandoned the vehicle on a side street near the eastern outskirts and was taken into custody without further incident. No injuries were reported among officers or bystanders. The incident underscores the risks officers face when responding to violent crimes, and the department confirmed an internal review will follow.
The city's latest financial report, released in June, shows the winter of the past 12 months was the costliest in a 10-year span. Snow removal, road treatment, and heating of shelters pushed municipal outlays to unprecedented levels, forcing the administration to tap record fine revenue. Police overtime alone exceeded $80 million, the highest amount ever recorded. Officials say the surge reflects both harsher weather and the need to keep streets clear and public safety services running. The report also notes that fine collections reached a new peak, helping to offset the budget gap created by the winter surge. City leaders acknowledged the strain on taxpayers and promised tighter monitoring of overtime expenditures going forward. The analysis covered a 10-year period, comparing current expenditures with previous winters to illustrate the sharp rise. City officials indicated that a review of overtime protocols will begin next month to curb future spending.
Let's get a look at your morning forecast with our meteorologist, coming up next.
A gentle overcast morning greets us, setting a calm tone for today's Montreal weather outlook. On this day, the city once sweltered to a record high of 33.4 degrees Celsius in 2020, a spike that rode the tail of an unprecedented heat wave across southern Canada. By contrast, the coldest June 19th was recorded in 2015, when temperatures fell to 9.8 degrees Celsius during a sudden Arctic blast that surprised residents. Normally, June sees a high near 22 degrees and a low around 15 degrees, so today's expected range sits comfortably between those averages. Right now, Montreal sits under a thick overcast with a temperature of 15 degrees Celsius, humidity high at 92%, and a gentle breeze of 18 kilometers per hour. By 9, we'll warm to 18 degrees, and the clouds will begin to break, giving a brief glimpse of blue. The sun will peek through at noon, pushing the mercury to 19 degrees while the sky stays mostly overcast. Mid-afternoon, the temperature climbs to 21 degrees, still under cloud cover, and wind gusts will reach up to 43 kilometers per hour from the west, feeling noticeably breezy. Evening will settle around 20 degrees as the clouds linger, and with a UV index of 4, there's no sunburn risk. No weather alerts are in effect, so enjoy the day. Looking ahead, the weekend stays comfortably cool under a blanket of clouds. Saturday will hold a high of 21 degrees and dip to 15 at night, with overcast skies throughout. Sunday nudges a degree warmer, reaching 22 degrees before settling to 16 degrees after dark, still overcast. Monday brings the warmest day of the stretch at 23 degrees, but a 30% chance of rain adds a splash of drama to the otherwise gray backdrop. Tuesday continues the gentle climb to 24 degrees, night falling to 16, and the clouds remain thick. Wednesday eases back to 23 degrees with a 25% rain probability, ending the 5-day period on a slightly damp note.
We'll break down bridge closures, preview Joji and Lost, and spotlight the old brewery mission project. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Detours dominate the morning. The Mercier Bridge on Highway 138 remains under a full detour, sending traffic onto the southbound lanes of the Viaduct Bridge and onto Boulevard René Lévesque. Eastbound drivers on Highway 122 will find the Victoria Bridge closed, forcing a shift onto the Champlain Bridge and adding at least 15 minutes during peak. The Ville Marie and Viger tunnels on Highway 136 are also shut, routing all downtown traffic onto Rue St. Paul and the nearby Autoroute Quinze. In the southwest, the intersection of St. Patrick and Bridge Streets is blocked, so use the nearby Rue Notre Dame as an alternative. Northbound traffic on Cavendish Boulevard in Mont-Royal must turn onto Rue de la Montagne. The street is closed for the morning. Aside from these closures, the rest of the network is flowing smoothly. No transit delays to report, and afternoon commuters can expect the same clear conditions unless new work starts later.
Franco's de Montreal wraps up today in the Quartier des Spectacles, where more than 250 French-language acts light up the streets, perfect for a last-minute music stroll before work. At the Bell Center, Joji takes the stage, offering his dreamy blend of R&B and electronic sounds for fans craving a nighttime vibe. Crosstown, the timeless musical Les Miserables opens at Theatre St. Denis, delivering soaring songs that remind us why classic theater still moves hearts. Meanwhile, The Old Port celebrates the launch of its summer season with free activities and food vendors, a great spot for families to soak up sunshine before the heat peaks. And looking ahead, the Montreal International Jazz Festival kicks off later this week, promising hundreds of concerts that will turn the city into a non-stop groove. Stay tuned for more and enjoy the day. And now here's Tyler with sports.
A quieter sports board today with no fresh local team update from RSS. A double trophy haul for the Canadians. Captain Nick Suzuki took home the Frank J. Selk Trophy, while Cole Caulfield was awarded the Lady Byng Trophy. The NHL announced both honors on Friday, according to CBC Sports. 2 awards, 1 team, a strong statement for Montreal's core. The PWHL has revealed the selection order for its 2026 draft, according to Sportsnet. The announcement came 2 days before the draft itself, giving teams and fans a clearer picture of how the day will unfold. Details on which team holds which pick have not yet been specified in the report. The Canadiens' playoff run is over. Carolina's Logan Stankoven scored one of 3 first-period goals in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Final, and the Hurricanes eliminated Montreal, advancing to the Stanley Cup Final. That report comes from CBC Sports.
The Old Brewery Mission in Sud-Ouest has just opened its first permanent rehousing project, a milestone for the organization and the borough. The new facility provides 18 studio apartments for people transitioning out of homelessness, offering stable walls, a kitchen, and community support services under one roof. By turning a former industrial space into home, the mission is weaving safety and dignity back into the fabric of the neighborhood, giving residents a tangible sign that recovery is possible right here on the streets they know. Local volunteers and city partners helped renovate the building, turning empty brick into a place of hope for families and newcomers alike. It's a reminder that when we lift one neighbor, we lift Montreal as a whole. And now a feel-good story, as the Old Brewery Mission celebrates opening its first permanent rehousing project in Sud-Ouest, bringing hope home.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From City Hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on GMNA for the local sunset, Montreal's evening newscast.
On a crisp Saturday morning on St. Laurent Boulevard, historic City Hall steps filled with a buzz as police chiefs, city councilors, and neighborhood volunteers gathered for a private dialogue. Inside the council chamber, the scent of fresh coffee mingled with the hum of a downtown streetcar, reminding everyone that the city keeps moving even as it pauses to listen. Mayor Valérie Cormier opened the session by inviting each participant to place a single white rose on the table, a simple gesture that turned the room into a quiet garden of hope. Officer Marc Tremblay, named in the recent allegations, stood beside a teenage student from the Côte des Neiges school, and together they signed a pledge to host listening circles, a step that felt like a bridge being built brick by brick. When the rose-filled table was photographed and shared on community screens, residents saw more than paperwork, they saw a promise to heal. The moment first rose was lifted, a sense of shared responsibility settled over the room, brightening the day for everyone present. We all walk this city together, and today we took small, steady step toward a more caring Montreal.
On a crisp Saturday night on St. Laurent Boulevard, the neon glow of the Fringe tent caught the eye of passers-by as Alexander Richardson and Aaron Scott Cafadar slipped onto a modest wooden floor for their midnight tango. The duo, both seasoned dancers with roots in Buenos Aires and Montreal, had rehearsed for weeks, determined to bring the intimate fire of Argentine tango to anyone lingering nearby. As the first notes of bandoneon drifted through the air, Alexander's hand found Aaron's waist with a gentle, confident grip, and she answered with a fluid, grounded step that echoed the cobblestones beneath them. The audience, a mix of curious festival goers and longtime tango lovers, held its breath as the pair twirled in perfect unison, shadows stretching long across the canvas ceiling. When the final chord faded, the crowd erupted in spontaneous applause, some rising to their feet, eyes shining with the realization they'd shared a moment usually reserved for a distant Buenos Aires ballroom. It reminded us that art can turn a city street into a place of connection, and a shared heartbeat can travel farther than any passport.
Thank you, Montreal, for watching the local sunrise. Tonight's story of a formerly homeless neighbor securing a subsidized home reminded us of resilience in our city. I'm grateful for your trust. Join us again tomorrow for more local insight and the stories that shape our community.